there was standing room only, and there were large numbers outside the stadium hoping to get in. Yo, can someone say that's incredible? I think G is in the backstage. G is in the backstage. She's in the backstage waiting to come on. So I gotta bring her on. G, are you ready? Give me the thumbs up if you're ready. There you go. Here she comes. G is in the house. Did you? Because you saw that. It was so funny because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it live. I'm looking at it live," and I called Gwendolyn and I said, "I don't really like this person that's
I was like,
entertainment," and she was like, "I think this was about an hour ago."
I said, they're at a church. How can you not like people at a church? And you're like, they're not at a church. He's dancing. I was like, but they're at a church. Yeah.
I got the wrong footage.
Yes. I was like, bruh, you're a little late.
You're a little late. It was the reason why I was late because I was looking at it. Then I had to turn away from it because my the point person for Martha's Vineyard's African American Film Festival called us, and I was like, "Dog it! Don't you know it's Kamala time?" And so I got distracted, and so I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I saw this." Anyway, long story short, 10,000 strong in Georgia.
Yes.
What are you what do you think of this, Gwendolyn?
You know what? It is great to see, but I do believe, like Kamala, we are still the underdog.
Still the underdogs.
We're still the underdog, and this is not a honeymoon phase. Like, people are seriously interested and engaged by her. There's always comments. People are like, "Oh my God, you guys are puppets. Didn't you guys vote for the other guy?" It's like, you do know that JD Vance literally dragged his guy just years ago. So, like, who's really the puppet? Like, it's just like think about it, right? At the end of the day, though, the way this works is you pick the best person and you decide, hey, it may not be 100, but I'm at 95% or 80%.
Yes.
And I'm going all in. That's how this works. Like, no one's ever going to have 100%. I just don't believe it. As you and I were talking, in my head, it would be great if we could remove the red and the blue, because I do believe most of us are right down the middle.
Yes.
There are some people who are all the way to the left. There are some folks who are all the way to the right. But at the end of the day, if you just sat down and talked about what we really believe in, we all truly agree. There's a couple of things we're like, not so much. But for the most part, we all do agree on some stuff. And then there are other things where people just go way over. I will leave my comments about not only JD Vance and his latest response, but let's keep in mind that there have been other women who have made the same response to women who choose to not have kids. I'm a choose to not have kids for my own reasons. One, I'm just not that responsible. Like, let's just be honest about it. Love them, but it's like, look here, you got to go home back to your parents. Like, really? Like, seriously. I don't know how folks do it all day. Every day? Like, every day? I gotta get up?
With kids.
Seriously?
That's a chore.
No. It's a chore, and I love my kids. As I told you, Ron, I'm in my Gigi and auntie season. Spend my weekends with my grandbaby, the one that's closest, and the others are in Florida. So, but the whole idea that, he and women have this, like, people have said, "Oh, well, you don't understand because you don't have kids, or you're not married, or you're like," I don't know where they get this whole thing from, that the only thing that makes your life valuable is if you are creating another life. I don't know where that came from. I don't get it.
And what's amazing on that note too is that how many of us have had teachers that had no children? And one of the reasons why they became teachers is probably because they had no children or they could not have children. And they made the difference in so many of our lives. I will always remember Miss Moore. Miss Moore and when I was in junior high school, did not have any children. But guess what? She looked out for me like I was her own. I think about my teachers. the teachers that were that stood in the gap. It was so crazy. Yes, the whole and to talk about that he's been feeling this way since 2021. There's like he
Oh
has
yeah.
it on his campaign letter that he sent out. This guy is I would not put it past Trump to get rid of him.
It could someone clearly didn't do their job in vetting.
They didn't
Someone
do
didn't check
no
consistency.
vetting.
But
Yes.
I had a thought, and this reminds me. It brings me back to the image that we saw yesterday at VP Harris's rally. So their idea of family. Like when people talk about you don't have kids, you don't have this, so you don't have any family, you clearly don't get what family is really about. Family is more than blood, right? It's a coming together to build a community, to build a village so that everybody prospers. And when we talk about prospering, we're not saying financial gain only. We're talking information, we're talking access, we're talking education. Because if I know something, you're going to know something.
Yes.
If I have access to something, you're going to have access to something.
Yes.
If I'm going here, I'm taking you with me, right? And so when you look at her rally yesterday, I got the feeling of we are all in this together. And that she says we're not
Yes.
going back to the world of living in silos and operating as if it's just me against the world. We're not doing that. This is not a zero-sum game. You don't have to lose in order for me to win. We can all win.
We can all
Everybody
win
can win.
together. And but again, we've had this conversation a lot of times. The whole mindset of some of these people in their Bible Belt silos and the Christian nationalist silos and this white only silos is that their whole purpose of their political motivations is so that you and people that look like us don't get what they think they should be getting alone. So therefore, let's cut it all off for everybody.
Yes.
Because we don't want you to get what we're getting. So we don't want to get it now either because you're going to get it if we go with it. And that's the whole think about Republican policies.
Mm-hmm.
They do not benefit poor people in the South.
Mm-mm.
In the red states. They do not support. They do not give them health care. They don't give them a good education. They don't give them hospitals. They don't give them, and the list goes on and on, education, everything. And they don't work with them. The programs do not support them. But yet, because of their prejudices, discrimination, and their lack of education.
I'm going to say scarcity mindset too, though. There's a scarcity mindset, right? Like in order, again,
mindset.
If this person gets it, then I can't. I was preparing a presentation, and someone was asking about what to use if the market is saturated. Look, if you just came on the game, of course the market is saturated. It's always saturated, but we have talked about it. You have aisles and aisles of water and peanut butter and bread, and all them bitches are selling. Go on and put yours out there. It's going to be all right. There's room for yours too. There's plenty of room. Plenty of room at the end.
But then the thing about Vance and his family ideology, they had one of the best families in probably a century with the Obamas. I mean, you had obviously the JFK and his family with the kids, but you couldn't get a better representation of a great family,
right,
on the world stage. But yet that wasn't good enough for them.
Mm-mm.
They don't believe in family. They believe in maybe, can we say it? White families. That's all they believe in. They don't believe in any other kind of family. They don't believe in any kind of childbearing. They don't believe in any other. It's all about white women must have white children, so that we can increase our numbers on the planet.
Yeah. Yes, that's very clear. It's not about us. It's
So they
just
don't
not.
care about
It's
the
not meant
black
to be there.
women. They don't care about the maternal problems
No.
that are happening around the country.
Mm-mm. No, because if there was a care for that, there would be policies in place. There would be a collection of data. They could care less. And
Yeah.
wasn't it Louisiana who, oh, let me not make it up, because Louisiana, they always doing something. Um I'm sorry, my neighbors
Yes,
always
right.
getting
That's
into
your neighbor's
something.
state. Cut it out. Cut it out.
It's my dad's home state, yo.
But
So it ain't like
that's your daddy's state. That's right. That's right. Your dad's from
my
there,
dad's
right? Your
home
dad was
state. Yeah,
from there. Yeah. Oh, let's
yeah,
bring on the great also. Let's hold on a second. Chrissy says, say that again, Ron. Yeah, it's the truth. I mean, they are not interested in any other people.
no,
Yeah, and they don't understand when you and if they really believed in the red letters of the Bible, which they say they claim to be, they don't understand that if they just follow that one thing that Jesus said, if you care for the least of them, right? You do unto them the least of them, you do that for me. Right? If
yeah.
you take
So
care of the least in your society, everybody wins. Anyway,
So just to answer that, so with Louisiana, in terms of maternal mortality, right? They are 47th out of 48 states.
say that number again
47 out of 48.
of
And
mortalities.
in terms of Black mothers, there's 4 Black mothers that die for every white mother.
Wow.
We'll have to come back to that discussion on another day, because I get into my feelings. I get into my feelings when it comes to black women, but
I know you
why
can
would
go
I not?
in. Anyway, I see Brian is in the backstage. Brian, are you ready to come on? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay, there's Mr. B. There he is. What's going on, Mr. B?
Hey, you guys. I was on my walk, so I had to get back to the car.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we have to make sure that we take care of people, the least. Anyway, but the rally was awesome. It was great. Kamala came out. I just got to make sure I get this point out really quick. Kamala came out on fire when it came to the border. Like she said, wait a minute, y'all can come against me on the border, but guess what? I'm going to let you know what happened. And she gives it her, she shares about her cases in California, what she did about the people that crossed the border. And then she goes into with the kill, which they need to keep doing it every single day with the hammer, that there was a bill that was created by a Republican
Yeah.
that was extreme for Democrats. But Democrats got on board with the Republicans, bipartisan legislation, and the bill was going to pass. But Mr. DJT, the orange, the bad orange man, told his people, do not vote yes to this bill, the most aggressive bill that Republicans will ever have, that had ever been able to come up with. Democrats would have never, ever crossed those aisles on so much. The progressives were upset about that bill, but in the name of the border, they got on board, most of them, to pass a bill that was going to clean up. And then also the people that were on the border were also for the bill.
Yeah.
So Trump is the reason why there is no bill today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they got to keep driving that home, because a lot of ignorant people out there, ignorance, because they don't do their due diligence to read, or they have not been watching the news, or they don't. Yeah. They just don't know the facts. And if Kamala could keep driving that, and again, can I say something that I'm using? Remember we had the Joker in the building yesterday?
You're so popular now. I'm so jealous.
we
So
had
jealous.
we had a troll dude and guess what? Not only did he troll me in here, he trolled me in my personal company email. Like, you have to contact the company, and gave me this long list of Kamala's a czar of the border, yada yada yada. And can we all get away from the horrible stupidity of those crazy notes that he sent me? Yes, I'm calling it out. Because guess what? It wasn't Kamala that called herself the czar of the border czar. It wasn't the Biden administration that said she was the border czar. It was a media term that they gave her. Her job was to work with heads of states to work on their economies and find ways to help them, to help the people not come to the United States, but they can help them in their countries and how they could work with them. And I think it's Nicaragua and another country have done very well with those policies that Kamala has created with all the people that were involved in the border. And then they're doing better. That's why you see all the numbers going down on the border. And you also see that Biden has done by passing these other laws. I mean, not other laws, but you want to call them executive orders. By passing executive orders to go around Trump's rejection of the bill to get some of those parts executed. So if you are a troll, don't come at me because I will come back. Or if not, you will be cut off. And you cannot, again, that dude called Kamala the B word in our feed. My job is to protect everyone in this building. This is a community. And if you want to be a troll, this is the wrong place. Now, some people let the trolls keep hanging out. Not I. I will delete you. I will block you. Every single troll. Why? I have a community to protect. And first of all, you go up against a black woman or a white woman or an Asian woman, any woman, and call her the B word, I will definitely lose my mind, which you probably were like, I was controlling myself. I just hit that delete button so fast. I was like, oh, be gone. Anyway, sorry. I just had to get that out. Anyway, but Brian, go ahead, buddy.
I think but I just not on my watch either. That's not what I wanted to share, but along, I love these organic, seriously. But
yes,
misinformation and disinformation is real. Bots are real.
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
We froze. He froze. Okay, there he is.
Oh man, I might have to drive away from the the woods.
That might help. You might need to get near an antenna.
Yeah. So I'll just say our national security apparatus has shown its proof and factual that it was Russian interference in our 2016 and 2020 election through digital misinformation. So how and if we engage with any of these haters that are coming into various platforms, it doesn't matter how big or small an audience is. This is something digital. So, I'm not a digital person, but I would assume that these trolls and bots and fake accounts, they could just boop, 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 and have it go throughout. Doesn't matter whether we have 2 followers or 200 followers. They get in there and then they start to engage. I almost got caught up in a back and forth until I realized, wait a minute, I did a quick little search.
Froze again.
Other brothers followed this person's account. I went to their IG that was connected. It was fake. So and if it was real, so be it. But I'm like, listen, you've got 1,000 active for 2 days. Oh man, okay. So I'll
Brian, we're gonna have to get you a tower. So you're gonna
Yeah.
drive to a tower and then come back on.
all right.
So what's the difference for exercising outside? You should exercise inside. You should be like me.
My
You
steps in.
get your home gym, man.
But I understand. I
That's right.
understand about
I'll be
getting out
back.
and exercising.
I get
I'll
outside
drive
too,
away.
just so you know.
Yes, you do. You have that hammock that you hang out in.
I
You
tell
have
my
that
business,
hammock
Ron.
that you be rolling on. Oh my
Tell my
gosh. But
business.
okay, next subject.
We'll
Here's
let-
another
we'll-
subject.
Yeah, Ryan will come back. He'll come
Yeah.
back.
Oh, did you want to say something, G?
No. In terms of misinformation, you just have to. It's interesting that we have short memories, right? Like
Mhm.
I remember him saying not to move forward on that border bill.
That's
And
right.
so I immediately said, well, clearly the border can't be an issue because if it was, you would want to resolve it. You wouldn't want to have this issue hanging on until you need it to make it a speaking point. People who were down there, it's like, are there people who are coming in? Yes. Are there people who are sleeping outside? Yes. But they make it seem like, oh, we've had 200 million people come into this country and it's just overflowing. Cut it out. Like, just stop. Stop with all the hyperboles. It's really not
And
that.
again,
And the fact that they could have resolved it and he said not to should tell you it's really not that big a deal. It's like the war on drugs. Cut it out.
exactly. It's fake because we also know you don't hear about the border until it's an election year.
Yes. That's the only time
And the
I'm
rest
concerned
of
about it.
after November, you won't hear anything about the
Nope.
border from the Republicans.
No, there's
Anyway,
no
here's another
concern.
thought. Speaking of Republicans, Arizona Republican Mayor John Giles endorses Harris for president. So what's happening around the country? He's not the first. There's several mayors, Republican mayors, and people that are in the Republican Party that are endorsing Kamala Harris.
Yes.
What do you guys think of this? Do you think, like Pete Buttigieg said, that the Republican Trump fever is breaking? That there are some folks that are saying, you know what? We see what this dude is where he's going. We need to stop him. Do you
I think
think it's happening?
I believe it's a mixture. So I was talking to my husband about this on our ride to Houston. And I come from a family that speaks up a lot. Like my dad, I am very much like my deceased father. God bless all of me, Lord Jesus. And my mother as well, right? So when we see things that aren't quite right, we're going to call it out. Like we just don't sit in the background and we're like, okay. So it just baffled me that he was able to come in and literally take over an entire party and people did speak up. Maybe they did speak up, but there wasn't enough people to say, oh, I'm just going to ride with it and just go with the grain because I don't want to be ostracized and I don't want to be that person who doesn't get invited to the barbecue and I don't want to be, that could be it. But now that there is enough people that they feel comfortable saying, I don't mind going out on the edge. I have seen some other things. Perhaps this is going entirely too far. It's impacting somebody I know and love. I am now going to stand up and say something.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it. Because I just find it so hard that people saw what was being said. I mean, he says some utterly disgusting things. He does on a consistent basis across the board. And people are like, he's just saying something. He don't really mean that. He don't really mean that. But yet and still, some of y'all think he's like the second coming of Christ. Like, are you kidding me? Are you really serious?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. So I gotta believe that it's a combination of the environment that is making people say, you know what? I can't not vote because that's still voting for the other person.
Yeah.
I have to come out and say, this is who I believe in, and it could just be for this one race, but everything is on the line, and I'm okay with saying I'm going this way because everything is on the line.
Yeah, Brian says mayors are on the front lines of citizen to citizen engagement, so they know their people, they know their constituents. So it's just interesting that several Republicans have come out yesterday and the day before that are saying, "Hey, you know what? We are with Kamala." I mean, and you see all of these definitely these postings. People from different backgrounds are all supporting, and it's just really. I have not seen this kind of energy across the board, and just like everyone from every kind of background talking about they want change. They
Yes.
want to see change. Mr. B is back. I think he's found a location.
Has he found the location?
There he is.
Right.
There he is. He's
I'm
back.
not hating on you for being healthy, sir. I'm right there with you. Keep the heart pumping. I'm right there with
Well,
you.
I don't know about healthy because I went around the corner and parked in front of the Starbucks.
Oh, there you go. You're
You
guaranteed.
don't have
well.
to go in. You don't have to go in. But they do have good Wi-Fi
They have a good.
service.
They do have They have good Wi-Fi. There you go.
Yeah.
Migrants 20%. Okay, here's a now this is some. I mean, you got some interesting photo, Miss A Golf Twiddler.
Twiddler.
This is some kind of picture on your page on your Addy. But you're coming with some facts. 73% of U.S. farm workers are immigrants. 44% of U.S. farm workers are undocumented immigrants. What happens to the price of groceries when you incarcerate half of America's farm workers? The GOP needs crisis. Absolutely. And so, but it's just interesting, you know, as we were talking about the migrants and that situation. But I'm curious. I was definitely curious to see how you guys felt about. Are you hearing or are you seeing in the news also where you're located in your local news of Republicans, or do you know Republicans or Trump followers that are beginning to think, I'm out. I'm finished with Trump. I'm done. I'm moving to Harris. Have any of you guys out there in your encounters are encountering anything like that? So think about it. Just a question. Just wanted to get that on the table since it is something that is happening. It's like a little chiseling away. Okay.
If I may, I
Yes.
have some friends, close friends who have been Republicans all their life, political science people, so they are all in. But back in 2016, take it back, 2016 is when this one particular friend started voting blue because she just could not get behind the foolishness that was starting and has voted blue since. So yeah, I don't. For some people, it could be a chiseling. For some, it was an immediate turnoff from the get-go.
Well, think about Nikki Haley's voters. Nikki Haley's voters are Republicans, and they don't like Trump. You know, which was sad for her that she decided to go, drinking back from the trough of Trump. But her followers did not. Her followers are not going back to Trump, and they say a lot of her followers are connecting with Harris. And wasn't there I think it was USA Today talking about Haley's people also were now they got, I think it was some portion, some organization of the Haley voter endorsed Harris, which is quite interesting.
Well,
so there's some fevers breaking in the Republican Party that begin to say, wait a minute, I want to save democracy.
Mhm.
I don't care. I may disagree with Democrats, but democracy is more important.
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah. So anyway, guess who else is in the building? Guess who else is in the building? Miss
All right.
Sister Elise is in the building.
Good morning. It's early in my neck of the woods today.
Where are you? Are you on the West Coast again?
Yes, I am.
Lord of mercy.
You know, I have Josiah's pre-release party tomorrow. So I'm in LA.
You're bi-coastal. You
Well,
are a
Auntie got to
bi-coastal
show
woman.
up.
You show
Auntie got to
up.
show
You
up.
do. You show and you support artists. You support artists. But again, and so think of, I mean, you're over in the West Coast right now. You live
Right.
on the East Coast and you're in the political arena of the country. Are you seeing any of your Republican friends or people that you know are Republicans kind of like saying, you know what, I'm a hardcore Republican, but you know what? I just can't vote for the orange guy another time.
Look, I don't really have any Republican friends. I guess I have to call my husband's relatives.
But again,
That's
so
not my choice.
relative,
I just don't have any.
because Brian mentioned in our little, we have a little text that we have. Brian mentioned that he was with the young people in his family, and he went to them and started
Yep.
talking about the election.
Right.
Brian, you want to share about what happened
But
there?
I do want to say something about the Republicans, though. So
Okay, go
what's
ahead.
happening is, if you listen to the ones that have spoken out, some like the former lieutenant governor, the ones that they're speaking out, they're supporting Kamala right now because they're trying to save the Republican Party.
Yes.
They're trying to get rid of the MAGA Trump side. And so
Yes.
that's why they're out here supporting Kamala. Don't make any mistakes. They're supporting her, but I'm sure they're not voting for the House and Senate she needs to get her stuff through.
Good point.
That's the part we
Mm,
have to remember. They're supporting
mm,
her, but for her to accomplish everything that people say they want her to accomplish, we cannot forget that the entire House of Representatives is up for re-election, and so are
yes.
33 senators. So we need to make sure, you need to clearly understand, they're not saying they're voting for Democrats up and down the ballots. They're
Yes.
voting for her. So they'll still be voting for Republicans on the other side. We need to make sure that we understand
Ah,
that,
very good
and that we
observation.
clearly understand that we cannot come back like we've done with Obama and Biden and say, well, they didn't do X, Y, Z, and we didn't give her, and we don't give her the House and the Senate that she needs to accomplish everything we want. We need everything to be blue. They're not saying they're trying to get everything to be blue.
Right. Right.
They're
Yes.
trying to save they're trying to be able to get their party back. And this is the opportunity they're seizing on to get their party back to what they they think it should look like. They're not saying we're sponsoring someone to run against Marjorie Taylor Greene. At least I haven't heard anyone say that out loud, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, or the other guy from
So so
the bunch of them.
So let's not forget that the entire House of Representatives is up for re-election. 33 senators are out there, and there are at least 11 governors across the country that are up for election. If you're in a red state and your governor is up for re-election, then you need to go out there and vote blue up and down your ticket so that it changes. They're not trying to change the entire dynamics. They're trying to change this component of the piece. Because Republicans haven't won that popular vote, and they see the
Yes.
increase. So they're riding away, but we cannot be distracted from what we also need to do. We have to do it, or we can, just like you complain with Biden, you complain with Obama, and you didn't give them come back in the midterm when all the House of Representatives is up for re-election again and some more senators. You got to make sure that we are giving them what they need so that we can't make these comments that we're making. That people
And,
are, I'm not
and
making the comments, but
can I
people
throw
are making
something
them.
in there, Elise, since you're
Sure.
on that subject? Because this is kind of like an advertisement to all college students that may be watching this. Because I'm surprised I do have a good young following. So the young folks that are in here, or that will see this later on, if you live or are parents of college students, if your child lives on a campus, this is their week. This week and next week, I do believe, are the weeks for them to get their early ballots from out of state. So make sure that they get their ballots so that way they can vote from wherever locations they're at, but they can vote for their state that they live in. But because they're out of state, there's a form that goes out this week and I think next week. So make sure that your college students that want to participate in the election, make sure that they get those forms filled out so that way they can vote out of state, so that their vote will count. Okay, Brad, Mr. B.
Well, to Lisa's point and Kim's comment in there, and you thank you for keeping that up. That old saying, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." That's what
Yes.
some of these Republican mayors I'm that's what I feel. I'll just say that. I won't.
Oh no, that's a very
Yeah.
true statement.
I
There
won't
are
get
people
into
that live by that. Kim got it. I mean, that Kimmy got it right. The enemy of
But-
my enemy is my friend.
Exactly.
I mean, that is a true philosophy that has been. I mean, you even saw it was seen in Game of Thrones that they even use this line. I mean, this is a for all those Game of Throners out there. I mean, it is a concept. It's like also here's the other one. Keep your enemies close, right? You keep your
Yes.
enemies closer. Keep your friends close, but
Friends
keep your
close.
enemies closer.
Right.
I want to know what my enemies are doing. That's the whole point.
And sorry, I guess the Wi-Fi is wonky here, so let me hurry up.
No, we're getting you.
But-
We're getting you. Just stick to it. Stick to it, sir.
So
Well, I guess he's frozen. Maybe not. Maybe
So,
not, Mr. B. Get on home, sir. Get on home.
It keeps
Anyway, you got 9
Well, you were
minutes to get home. No,
Challenge-
just kidding.
Right.
But he's frozen again. But
He's back.
here's
I challenge everyone, start within your own family. I always say make it plain. I was on a family Zoom call Sunday. I know today's Wednesday, but I've been working on it. My task was to organize out of my generation. I'm the oldest out of my generation
yes.
in my family. And when I say extended family, my task is organizing the next family Zoom call with all the males from my age on down.
Poor Brian.
He keeps freezing.
He's frozen. Okay. But anyway, just let me share with your situation. Brian has spent time with his family, and Brian has taken the helm in making sure that the conversation is being taken with his family to educate them. What he discovered when he was talking to his family is how many of the young people in his family, young males, were misinformed. They were not informed properly of what the issues are and what the issues should be. So he has taken the helm and saying, I'm going to make sure that I educate my nephews and my the cousins and all that stuff, the people in his family. Okay.
And
Elise, go ahead, Elise.
Yeah, and you can see that in a lot of when you see some of the videos.
You were broken up, Brian. We're going on. We're moving on. Just hang out with us. But Elise is speaking now.
Yeah, so you can see that in some of the videos that you see where they're posting young Black people and they are coming out with all the misinformation. They're not they don't know any of the facts. They're just repeating whatever they hear someone says. For example, my friend has there's a female friend of his who posted in her stories, "Oh, I'm not gonna vote for Kamala. I don't like her." And I was like, either you're gonna reach out to her or let me reach out to her. So he reached out to her to find out why. And it was all nonsense. It was all ridiculous nonsense. And she's in her mid-30s. And it was all this, it's the same nonsense of one of the comments that I thought was crazy had something to do with her not raising a Black child or whatever. Her laugh. All of it was the ridiculous, foolish things that they said.
It's all foolishness.
This is a young woman. This is a young woman who's a Stanford graduate too. So and I told her, and she lives in my neighborhood. If I catch her on the street, we're gonna have a conversation. Not on the sense because I want her to share with me. I won't even let her know my son shared anything with me. I just want her to share with me what her thoughts are so we can clear up the misinformation, because they all start out with her record as a DA, which is we all know is misinformation. They don't even know what the real truth is, and they're not taking time to look it up. So yes, it is up to us when someone comes with that to inform them of the truth and help them go and find it if they don't want to believe us, so that they don't keep repeating and absorbing the misinformation that's out there about Kamala.
Can I add to that? If my Wi-Fi is still good, I went off. Be strategic, because when I say that, like, as you said, Elise, last time we had a conversation, we're in a sprint. To me, this is like a sprint, a marathon sprint. You know, there's times we got to go all out. Sometimes from here until not just election day, which everybody keeps saying is less than 100 days away, 90 something. No, election day is early voting, which in some states can be
43 days away.
Yeah, or
43
less.
days is an
So,
early voting.
so when we're engaging with people in our circles who are spewing, and if it's especially if it's young or just anyone who's spewing these just talking points and not digging into the details and the facts, in my opinion, be strategic. If I think you can gauge if somebody is too far down that road where you can't pull them back. As my colleague in teaching tells me, like, Brian, we can't save everyone. Watch your, I try, but if you wind up spending more energy than what it takes to get a hook in them, to see the facts and the light, you mad at her because of her laugh? Think about that. And then and I don't want to say how I would be in the street like, mofo, I don't like your laugh, but we still hang out. So I mean, like, that's what I would
But
say.
here's another subject I want to throw at you guys real quick. Trump was invited to the National Association of Black Journalists. The NABJ convention sparks a backlash. What do you got now? The invitation did go out to Trump, and it did go out to Kamala. It did go out to both. However, Kamala let them. She says, "Can I do it
Virtually.
streaming
Right.
streaming or off campus because she had to go to the funeral, and she also had to do something else with the some kind of other thing that she had to do. She had previous engagements related to the campaign, and they would
They
not
turned her
do
down.
it.
Right.
They turned it down that she could not do it. But yet at the same time, these are Black journalists, and they are. First, I was shocked that they gave an invitation to Trump. But what do you guys think of this whole ordeal? It was so bad that one of the leading officers of the NABJ resigned and said, "I'm out. I'm done."
Can I say with that, Convict Orange has been invited and has turned down an opportunity to speak. I think Roland Martin broke it down. 2016, 17, 18, 2019, 2020, and now he wants to speak there. And one of his cronies, and I can't remember the sister's name. She's one of the few that I try to forget. Who is on Fox? She is the champion of this. How much money has the right? How much money has Rupert Murdoch? How much money has Fox News? How much money has Newsmax? How much money has all of these organizations, private, public, who are behind him getting brought back to office, are trying to play on our intelligence? Don't fall for it. Sorry.
My thing is why would first of all, Trump is horrible to all journalists, black, white, doesn't matter who they are. Right. He is horrible to journalists, period. Why would you invite this guy to your convention? Right. It doesn't make sense to me. What are you thinking when you bring someone that is racist and misogynist and all the is, and then, but not only that, he hates journalists, period. Doesn't matter what color, what country, where they're from. He hates journalists. Why would you have him as a speaker?
And why would you turn her down? Why would you turn her down when she says, I can't show up in person, but I would like to come virtually, and you turn her down? So what's the motivation behind the person who organized it? Who got there? If it's a person that's from Fox who is on there and who knows who they support. But we gotta always constantly remember all your skin folks ain't kin folks.
All skin ain't kin.
So we don't know what the motivation is.
All skin ain't kin.
And the fact that this panel that they have pictured up there are all Black females. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to digest. And why would you do that? Because are you going to sit there and allow him to speak unchecked? What are you going to do? Because that's the stuff you have to be careful when you invite the shark into the pool.
Yeah.
Because if you're not strategic, I mean, if you're not strategic and and you don't realize that you've been manipulated by someone within your own group. Mm-hmm. And there has to be a reason why the one stepped away, why she got out. So why did she get out? So the one in the
I mean,
middle.
that's
So
the advertisement for it, right?
Yeah,
right.
And
that's
he gets
the start.
and then he gets the big picture.
Yeah, he got the big picture. The black women are
So
small. He's big, right? He should have been
It's
small.
crazy.
I just don't think that this whole idea of there's nothing. Don't, and as one person already said, don't give me that crap about being balanced. No, they're already unbalanced. I don't want to hear any of your excuses. Tell me the truth. What is it what are you getting out of it? Why
Yeah.
are you getting it? Is there some dollars coming behind it? You know, the way he treated April Ryan when she was out there, just the way how horrible they've been to members of that group of people. Why would you even do this? But then at the same time, you not allow her the opportunity to speak virtually. She is on a campaign trail and she's doing multiple things all at one time, and she can't stop everything she's doing just to go to this one event. But she said, "Hey, I can be there virtually. I can be I'm in LA on a 3-hour time difference. I can be here now. I couldn't be there in person. I'm not at the same time, but I can be here."
and
So
it could be live, not pre-taped or
Well, that's
whatever.
what they were going to do.
absolutely.
They offered a streaming live. They could stream her in, and they said no. I was like, holy mo! So I mean, it's very big. I mean, it's a big subject right now, and in the news people, journalists circles, people are like how. First of all, when we know Trump has, he insults. He goes out his way. He goes extra out his way to insult Black journalists.
And
He just does it.
And understanding that, you know, if he were to win, which he's not going to win, but if he were to win, you'd be in jail for speaking what you had to say, right?
As Gwendolyn likes to say,
what he said, you're going to be locked up. You know, they're going to have your camp assignment ready for you. And so why are you out here trying to put yourself in a camp? And then what they need to investigate is who was behind saying no to her.
Yeah, I would love to know. That was crazy.
Was this the Fox correspondent that pushed that? Who pushed it?
Mm-hmm.
Who is this?
Okay, guys. Well, that was our water cooler talk for today. That was like, I just we love our water cooler talk Wednesdays. I mean, you have to give Lisa. Lisa was like, I like these, Ron. I like these. So that's why some people, and you guys get pleasure out of it too. Because it's great to just have these conversations and just talk different headlines that are in the news. Because one, it helps you to kind of like dive in, and then also when you see people putting information in the chat, it makes you say, "Oh, okay, let me look that one up. Let me look that up." Because the worst thing you can do is come to any platform and just take the information and just run with it. Right. I always say, when you are on these platforms, when I'm on Don Lemon's platform or Roland Martin platform, all these folks that really are engaging and trying to get the facts and have great people on their panels, I still go the extra mile to make sure what they're saying is true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and so, you know, when you're posting stuff inside the chat, try to make sure it's always, you know, factual. And that that's been backed up by good factual, foundations and groundwork. And but also, if you're in this community, keep educating yourself. Let these conversations cause you to be a geek like me, and just keep searching. Keep getting the information and learning what is out there, the truth behind what's happening. And I'm sorry. I mean, I know we have some folks that, you know, that are Caucasian in our community, and they may feel like we feel, you know, strongly about what's going on. But also the whole thing is, this is not to sound racist towards white people. I think at some point, our white brothers and sisters, our allies, have to take a moment to say, let me try to figure out why they feel this way as people of color. Because and not to be mean, but it is a lot harder for our Caucasian brothers and sisters to understand what we go through as people of color in this nation. And I remember one of my best friends, we were talking. She's, you know, is white, blonde, blue hair, I mean, blue eyes and blonde hair. And one day I said, you know, I'm afraid to drive down because I'm just going to be the only person in the car. And I talked to her. I said, with the situation that was going on, as is coming out of the Black Lives Matter and in 2021 ish kind of, and I mentioned to her how I was feeling, and she says, "Oh, Ron, I never thought about that. I never thought of the danger. I just get in my car, and I drive." But you being on a road from New York to Delaware by yourself, that may be a problem. I never thought of it. And she said, "I'm so sorry for just assuming you should just get in your car and just drive away, and you're going to feel safe everywhere you go." That's not our reality as people of color. So the folks that are Caucasian, our allies, they have to understand when we're talking about some of these subjects, and it may seem like we're being reversed, as some folks may think it's reverse racism. I don't, but that's not the fact. The fact is that there are lots of people of color in this space. And in understanding where we're coming from is that our day is so different from your day. I mean, we have to second guess ourselves every day of the week, every hour of the day, every minute of the hour. If we are in the public arena or area. So we have to understand, and this is, again, I love our Caucasian brothers and sisters. I mean, and I don't want to sound like a racist and say, "Oh, I have lots of white friends." I do have lots of white friends. And I love my white friends. I surround myself with people of all races and religions and everything. I am totally for everyone. I've been that way since I was 16 years old, fighting my dad when he was a Black Panther. I was like, yeah. Anyway, but our white sisters and brothers, you have to understand that why these subjects are on our minds is because we live it every day, all day, everywhere we go. And white folks don't have to do it. And so it's just something that's a reality. And for, sorry that if you are of the Caucasian, background, that you may feel like, oh, this may be a little racist, a little bit whatever. That's not the intention. The intention is that you are our allies, and you can't be a good ally until you know exactly how we feel and how we experience the world. And again, that's just where we are in this country, because as much as we want to, some folks want to say America is not racist. We all know America is racist to its core.
Built on racism.
It's built on
like
racism.
American Pie racism.
Every decision we make is racism. Everything that the reason why they don't like Kamala is racism. The reason why they don't like people getting food or immigrants is racism. Their laws are created in racism. You have the Electoral College, racism. Everything about America is based on race. So we as a people, as Americans, we have to come together and understand each other on that foundation. And at the bottom of it all is that we really do have to get out of our silos and love each other and try to understand each other. Same thing reverse. Black folks have to understand where white folks come from. We all have to learn each other, and we will have a better country. Okay, I'm going to let you guys out of here because I know, Brian, you had something to say, but I'm going to let people go. They got to get back to work. And sorry to cut you, but I am going to let you guys go. I just want that to be the final thought, so that way we can all think about, we are to be unified. We have an election to win. We got to be on the same ticket. We're all in this together. Let's win this. What's the saying is? When we fight,
we win.
We win. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, before you go, Gwendolyn, where can people find you?
GR Houston Jack and Black Power Money on Instagram.
Brian, where can people find you?
Brian Young Creative on Instagram, Clubhouse, YouTube. Brian Young Creative. Or
You
Brian
are talking up these days. I love it.
Yeah.
And Elise, where people can find you?
At S Elise on Instagram.
Okay, and you know where to find me here at Touch Base Daily. Here we go, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll continue the conversation in our Trend Watch Thursday. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Love you all. Have a great day. And here's the songs. Here's the music. It's coming. It's coming. There we go.
Got your banner up.